What's a Ghetto Bird? Now then, we are the Don't Tell Show. We write and review gritty social realist films. We put a new video out every Monday, so if that sounds like your sort of thing, hit subscribe and we'll see you there. Ghetto Bird is a 2020 short social realist drama about two close friends played by Jack Parr and Aron Von Andrian. It shows a few hours of their afternoon as they skateboard and smoke weed and hang out.
Come on, you pussy!
So it's a sort of gritty urban drama with some of the tropes that come along with it, like the interpersonal conflicts that come from living in a high stress, low cash area. And it goes some way into the different ways of dealing with that stress, like either by completely shunning the system and trying to find your own way or going to it cap in hand. But what's really interesting is the aesthetic that it wraps that up in. Rather than the sort of long static takes and the grey grimness of brutalist high-rise living, this short sort of takes us back to a different time, a more innocent time perhaps, somewhere around the mid-90s.
Fuck no, it's super illegal.
Yes, it does share some similarities with the film Mid-90s by Jonah Hill, but it also, with this very busy 90s aesthetic that's sort of, it's closer to...
Could you get the phone?
And start getting real.
The real world.
Well, or this forgotten sitcom.
I mean, hello?
That was mostly just people sighing in fast forward, but I really liked it at the time. This sort of fast cut, loud aesthetic, it gives a better idea of what's going on in not just in the characters' minds, but in their culture as a whole. You know, that they might seem like layabouts, and they're just going down to the skate park every day, but there's more to them than that. You know, they have their own ideas, they have their own philosophies, they have their views about the world and the ways that they're dealing with it and how they're going to deal with it into the future. And rather than them just getting stoned and monging out, which people do, these kids they're using it to sort of stimulate themselves and to share these and have these sort of interesting conversations that people also do when they get high. Usually that don't make sense afterwards.
Criminals controlling us with rent and tax and all that shit. Yeah. A job is a man-made trap.
But you don't see that on film a lot. Usually you just see, if people do drugs, they just end up in a state on the floor. But this seemed more realistic in that it gives them sort of a hope. It gives these characters some sort of hope in there that they do have some intelligence and they do have some drive to them, even if it is to just go skating and talk about stuff. You know, so it's good that they have it in them to get over that and not to let it get them down like Matey here. As he's sort of the other side of the coin. He's the sort of person that can get trampled in the inner city bustle. So there's a nice dynamic there.
Mate, fucking chill out. Yeah, relax.
There's great chemistry between the two main characters, and there's a nice dynamic between those and this other character who has a different mindset. You know, there's a sense of hope there, and there's a sense of danger that we don't quite see through because the shot ends quite abruptly. After all that introduction, getting us all excited and stuff. And I don't know if this was supposed to be a sort of proof of concept film, but I hope it was, and I hope we get to see more of it. Because the world building is great, the chemistry is great, the aesthetic, it's old school and it's kind of familiar, but it's from a long time ago. It's not, people aren't doing that anymore, so it's refreshing. It's like it's bringing it back around again. I don't know if that's the way things are going to go, or if it was just the people involved in this particular film just liked that aesthetic and wanted to. We're like, we haven't seen that for a while, let's do something with that. As it is interesting when you don't see it all the time, or you haven't seen it for a while.
You just pulled it out of your pocket. So what?
So yeah, great acting, great chemistry, great... Like a lot of the films that I praise on here, it takes the sort of gritty social realist thing and does something unique to those people and something a bit refreshing with it. I'd love to see more. Have you seen it? What did you think? As always, the link will be below. Don't forget to comment if you watched it here. Comment on their link if you watched it. Spread the love, support independent film, and we are the Don't Tell Show. Goodbye. Oh, and I don't know what the Ghetto Bird is in this context, but for Ice Cube, it's a cop chopper.